Thank you all so much and welcome to today's bonus episode. Today, we're going to be talking about gratitude. And I just want to start off by saying this podcast, though it wasn't for this reason, if you listen to episode 1, I kind of talk about this being like a trail of growth that I'm leaving behind. But as far as a reach standpoint, this has far surpassed my expectations. Though it's still small compared to most podcasts, obviously. When I first hit that like 30 download mark, I was like ecstatic. I'm like, I don't even know that many people. Crazy. And now I've surpassed the 350 download mark, and I am so excited, and I'm having a blast with this. And I'm so grateful for you guys for tuning in, listening to what I have to say, and nothing but good feedback coming from you guys. So thank you guys so much. This is awesome. I'm having so much fun with this, and I'm just so grateful that you guys enjoy what I have to say and agree and are interested in me sitting here talking. It's so cool to me. So thank you. And today's episode is about gratitude. So stay tuned. Hey everyone, it's Brody Frye, and here we dive deep into difficult questions. We'll map out thoughts, theories, and crazy ideas for the love of knowledge and growth. So, how do we answer some of the mind's toughest questions? This is the Mind Hiking Podcast. Welcome back. I released this podcast 3 weeks ago to the time of this recording. I am recording this on a Sunday, and 3 weeks ago to this day, I released this whole podcast, my first episode. And I am now, like I said in the opener, past the 350 download mark. That is insane to me. So that's kind of inspired me to do an episode on gratitude and being grateful and kind of what it means to me, because this is very important to me. I feel like the majority of the planet has anxiety or depression of some form, and gratitude is, I would go as far as to say that this is a cure-all for that. Gratitude really, it grounds you. It reminds you of what's what and what's really important and what matters. We kind of bring this up a lot on this podcast, but it's easy to get wrapped up in your day-to-day life, your day in and day out struggles, because it's, the problems are much easier to pay attention to because they stand out to you, because they cause you friction in your life. And that's much easier to see than it is to see the good. When something bad happens or slows you down or hurts you or whatever, that stuff obviously stands out more than something good that happened, like a cooling breeze on a hot summer day or something as simple as that. And those are things to be grateful for. The most simple things. I mean, just having water to drink every day is a blessing. It's amazing to have the lifestyle that we all have. I mean, call it one lifetime or 1.5 lifetimes, 100, 150 years or somewhere in there. Lower class citizens in today's world are better off than the richest of the world 150 years ago. It's amazing what, with technology and with our society, how far we've come. And it's so easy to forget these things, like having heat, having air conditioning, having fresh drinking water. I mean, we didn't even have purified water or fresh drinking water until, or at least accessible to the majority of the populace, until the late 1800s, early 1900s. And before then, you could filter it with like sand and just to get like the sediments out, but they still had all that bacteria in it. And the only safe drink then is to drink alcohol or something fermented. And now you got everybody, including children, walking around hammered out of their minds. And that was just normal back then. And you can even take it back further if you want to get crazy here, where before fermented drinks were even discovered. And what were they? Everybody's just drinking lake water and dying. So I think the point's kind of clear here, but we've come a long way. And there's so many things. Like I said, the alcohol thing was normal back then. Now having easily accessible drinking water and like our needs for survival are met. Like it doesn't really matter how bad your situation is. Your survival needs are met. And 1 or 2 generations ago, what more could you ask for? You know, the way we live is just, it's just drastically improving, and it's just so easy to take everything for granted. I think we all struggle with this, and I personally struggle with this a lot. But you got, like, especially having such an active mind, it's tough to, pick and choose these battles, but sometimes you just got to slow it down and take a deep breath and look around and realize, things aren't so bad. Like, think about what is your worst problem right now, and then go ahead and look up at the stars and think about how minuscule everything is. We're just one tiny organism on an itty bitty rock in a little solar system, in a tiny little galaxy, in a universe that we can't even see all of it, or we have no idea. And on top of that, we have no idea if this is the only universe. So it's like instantly your problems are just dwarfed rapidly. And that's when you need to kind of look around and realize there are things to be grateful for. Our lives are amazing now. It's crucial to be grateful and look around and just say thank you. Every single person in the world can be thankful for something, even if it's something as small as the breath they're taking in. And if it's your last breath, you can still be grateful for the life that you lived. This life is a wild ride, a wild experience. Like, focusing on the problems day in and day out just makes this like a problem-filled life, when really it's not. If you can just be grateful for what you have, your life drastically increases. It just, you feel so much better. Everything just, you get happier. You're just elevating yourself by being grateful for every little thing, because it's like that cognitive bias or frequency illusion, where what you're focusing on, you see more of. It's like the vehicles is the easiest example, where you see a new vehicle, or like somebody buys a new vehicle, and then you start seeing that same vehicle everywhere. It's because you're focusing on that. That's in your brain now. And in that, you could even take that as far as this week's interview with Katie and manifestation. And that's real. And that's real because you're bringing that into fruition. What you're focusing on is becoming tangibly real. It seems like the people that have the hardest lives hate it the most and always have something negative to point out. And this is something that you can't tell them. These types of people, nobody can tell them this. This is something that they have to figure out on their own. They have to realize this on their own. What's happening in their lives that they hate so much, they're doing to themselves, and they don't realize it, but they're focusing on that negative. They're focusing on why does this always happen to me? Because you're putting that out there. You're focusing on that, and all of a sudden that keeps happening to you. Or when you say figures, or typical, things like that, like those types of words to describe a situation that's negative, you're bringing that back. You're bringing that on yourself, and you're never going to get out of that negative life that you supposedly hate so much if you just keep doing this to yourself. Gratitude is crucial to escape, to be free. You be grateful for the little things. The littlest things, just start with something. There's always something. And you can change your whole life. It's amazing. It's like a snowball effect. You just pick one thing and then you just start seeing these things. Oh, wow. Like this is, oh, that's cool. Wow, that's amazing. I never noticed that. All these things just snowball. And the cool thing is like, it's a snowball effect uphill. Being grateful. You're rolling this ball, growing this ball of gratitude, this snowball of gratitude uphill. It's incredible. And that's what, sitting in silence, sitting by yourself, you're never going to be able to get this unless you take time to yourself. You have to stop and look around, and it's so hard nowadays. That's why there's so many mental disorders nowadays, because everybody's so distracted, and we don't have time to clear our heads. Our heads are so jumbled up with all this information, instant information. We got to take time to sit down and just breathe and, decompress. Our brains have to decompress too, not just our bodies. It's like sitting and getting a massage when you sit in silence. And I know that's really hard for people because, especially people with ADD or ADHD, it's so difficult to be able to sit there for so long. And especially with this information age where you're so used to just getting hammered with all this information instantly whenever you want it. And not even when you want it, but even when you don't want it, you're just getting pounded with this information, ads and everything. And you got to take that time to decompress that, process it all, and get out all that gunk. Once you clear your mind out a little bit, empty that cup. I mean, you can refer back to episode 5, but empty that cup out or get it as low as you believe you can, and then you can start topping it off with gratitude. And then you can kind of work that at the same time, empty out the bad and start filling in some more of that gratitude, the good stuff. And then you'll slowly see your life elevate. It's tough too, because life is always going to challenge you like that, where life's going to be like, oh, really? You're trying to help yourself out? Oh, how about this? Throw something at you to test you. The people that aren't ready or haven't soaked this in fully or are just trying it to try it will say, see, it doesn't work. They're always going to find a reason to believe what they believe. And that's why you can't tell them this. They have to come up with this conclusion themselves. But for those of us who got it, those of us who are already there, who understand this, they'll say something like, fortune favors the brave. Or refer back to episode 6, rule 5. When you feel like surrendering, continue. Triumph loves the relentless. That being one of my favorite Robin Sharma quotes from the 5 a.m. Club. And let me know if you guys ever check that out. Definitely my favorite book of all time, so give it a read. A possibility that I've pondered about people's capacities for gratitude is their upbringing and kind of how they were raised. I feel like people that were given everything that they asked for and just pampered find it more challenging to be grateful because they're used to just getting what they want when they want it. But those of us that struggled, those of us that had to take care of ourselves and buy our own things, had to work hard to be able to pay for our own things, and we're on our own from a young age, those of us that grew up like that find gratitude more natural because you You learn to spend your own money and be grateful for it because you worked hard for that. And I'm grateful to have learned that at a young age. But when mommy and daddy buy you everything you ask for, and if you throw a tantrum, you get it anyways, it's really challenging. I feel sorry for those people. I feel sorry for the children that get everything that they ask for because they'll never be happy. And if they really, truly want to be happy, they got a long fucking road ahead of them because their parents really messed them up by giving them everything they ask for. That suffering is crucial. It's so important. You have to let children, especially at a young age, learn that they can't have whatever they want, and struggle is important, and they gotta know to work. Just like when they learn to walk, you can't just walk for them their entire lives. It's like that story, and this is true because I've raised so many chickens, but when you're hatching a chick, you can't open their shell. When they start popping their beak out and they got a crack in the shell and they're starting to come out, and you're so badly, because they're so cute, you so badly want to just help them out and just kind of like peel it back open a little bit and help them out. If you do that, they're going to die because they get their strength to survive by cracking their way out of that. They have to struggle to crack their way out of this egg on their own. And the ones that you help, the ones that you pull the shell apart and help them out, they're dwarfs compared to the other ones. They don't have the strength. They don't have the muscles. They didn't struggle. And now what you're doing is making them struggle the rest of their short-lived lives because they didn't have that foundation, that struggle growing up to be able to survive on their own like that. So you're just killing them. You're setting them up for failure by thinking that you're helping. You have to let them struggle. It's so important. That struggle is just building muscle and building mental strength, because think about how rewarding that is. Going through something so difficult and then overcoming it, you get such a sense of pride. It's so exciting and thrilling knowing, holy shit, I just did that. What else can I do? What else can I conquer? It's amazing. It's an awesome feeling. You know, it gives you that sense of pride and gratitude. And a stupid example is like video games. When you're using cheat codes, it gets boring quickly because then you're like, okay, well, this isn't even fun anymore. But it's so much more fun when there is struggle. When you're struggling, you're like, fuck, this game is so hard. Like, screw this game. But like, when you finally beat it, it's awesome. It's a great feeling. But like, yeah, using cheat codes sucks because it's like cool at first. And then it's like, all right, well, now this is boring. But what's different about that in life is you get everything given to you when you're young, and the ones that struggled, you know, shifted gears and are in such a higher gear than you and just gonna fly past you because you're so used to coasting under mommy and daddy's wings, and now all of a sudden you're thrown to the wolves and have no preparation. And I guess kind of the point I'm trying to get across too is gratitude works everywhere, not just for the good, like I said, cool breeze on a hot summer day, but the struggle as well. Maybe not so much in the moment, but when you get through that, just the gratitude of that feeling of overcoming whatever you can overcome anything. I love using this at work. It's amazing because sometimes when we're doing things that are super challenging or like grinding hard and working hard on a specific project that's a large project, or there's a lot of weight on our shoulders or something, I like to just kind of take a pause, take a break or a breath, and just long enough to glance around and look at everybody. I like watching people, and I like, you know, seeing their eyes and seeing their facial expressions, and like I just soak that in and just think to myself, like, this is good. This is so cool to be able to struggle with these guys because I know it's just making me stronger. It's making all of us stronger. We're becoming a stronger work family. Like there's specific times where, like I work with Jeremy, you all know, and like I'll see him get super frustrated and he might throw something or slam something and I don't know why. Maybe I'm just crazy, but for some reason I'll have a reaction like that where I like just kind of chuckle to myself where I'm like it's beautiful to me. Just the struggle and then turning that into something great, turning that into power and strength. It's just so cool to me. Like that gear shifting where it's like in a car, if you ever have drove a manual, I used to have a 1988 Ford Thunderbird Turbo Coupe and a 5-speed manual, and you're shifting gears. It's like you're revving out the engine and there's no load on the motor, and you shift into a higher gear and all of a sudden there's load on the motor, and it's just like you can feel the power. You can feel it pushing itself harder because when you're revving it out and there's no load, you don't feel the car driving forward. It's just the motor's revving out and you're not accelerating any faster. You have to shift and let the motor have that load, that struggle. And when you shift, then you feel that load, but that load is driving the car forward. It's just that's the same thing with life and struggle. You're driving forward when like I hate the feeling of coasting. Like I love going through struggles like this because it's growing me. I know I'm moving forward. I know I'm going somewhere when I'm struggling. That's why I like to grin when I see tough times, because I know it's being put towards something. That load is producing power somewhere. You might not be able to see it in the moment, but it's going somewhere. It's growing you. It's pushing you up in a direction that you might not be able to see at that time, but it's all beautiful. And I am so grateful for all of it. From the moment I started pondering life and thinking about it, I always knew that I didn't want that picket fence standard lifestyle. I didn't care how much I struggled. I wanted the roller coaster. I wanted the extreme highs and the extreme lows. I wanted the dips and drops and peaks, because you can't have those peaks without those drops. And those struggles are only making the good times better too. It's just you have to have that the roller coasters, and it's just I love it. I love all of it. Like I never wanted this, flat line lifestyle of monotone numbness. Like fuck that. I love the emotions. I love the roller coaster. It's just a beautiful thing. This roller coaster life, it's not for everybody, and I know there's a lot of people that might think that this sounds insane, but I'm speaking for the people that are with me, the people that want this too, the people that aren't afraid of struggle, of challenge, the people that grew up with struggle and became who they are now. They gained power through their struggle. The ones that are tough and strong. The ones that are going to etch themselves into this world and carve their own life. Make an impact. Make a difference. The drivers of this world. I know you guys are out there. I know you guys are listening, and that's who I'm speaking to. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. And I'm especially grateful for knowing the amazing person that you are and the amazing things that you've done and the incredible things that you haven't done yet, but I know you're gonna do. And you still took time out of your day to listen to me. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank all of you. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. This is just a huge thank you, and I really hope you got something out of this episode. I think this is a powerful one, and this was straight from the heart. So I hope this speaks to my fellow leaders, empire makers, and history creators. Thank you guys so much. You guys all rock. Keep kicking ass out there, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in for this episode. Thoughts, questions, concerns, reach out to me. Topic ideas for future episodes, please. themindhikingpodcast@gmail.com. Instagram direct message, Brody_Frye_63. Reach out to me. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for listening, and have a great rest of your day.